Back for another video. After I did my first video review with Prog TV and Bad Wolf IPTV, I got emails from a lot of you guys thanking me for turning you on to Bad Wolf. I am not paid by Bad Wolf. I'm not endorsed. I'm not sponsored by Bad Wolf. I just like their service. And I like their customer service more than anything else, because unlike a lot of these providers, these guys actually will email you back and communicate with you versus just give you a subscription and then you don't hear no more from them. All right, but anyway, so I did get a couple of emails from you guys talking about, oh, it doesn't work, this service is garbage, whole bunch of different things. I'm on a 100 megabit connection and it's buffering and it's freezing and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. However, again, I'm not with Bad Wolf and I'm not trying to defend them. I'm only going to clarify what I know to be a fact when it comes to IPTV service and why you could be going through this. And one of the first things I want to point out is your router. You know what I mean? So like, I'm on a different router than I was before. The first time I made that video, I was at my in-laws house and they have a superb router and a very fast router. And I could definitely tell the difference from being at their house shooting that video to coming home, because I'm actually on a MiFi at my house and satellite. So I have to bounce between both because I'm in a rural area. However, I do know that Wi-Fi signal is an issue because our Wi-Fi operates on 2.4 gigahertz and most Android TV boxes only can pick up 2.4 gigahertz versus the 5 gigahertz. Okay, so that could be an issue as well, because 2.4 gigahertz is easily interfered by small things like cell phones, microwaves, and things like that. And it does play a part in your buffering and connection and freezing. Now, the other thing is your software, your device, all this plays a part, and proof is in the pudding, because I emailed them right after doing that video for them. I was like, oh my God, they're making me look stupid. I got buffering, now I'm freezing, and a challenge wouldn't play. And so they asked me, well, what was different? And what was different was I wasn't using Prog TV, firstly. I was trying out Perfect Player, because Perfect Player has that EPG that I just love and everybody loves. I also tried Smart IPTV app on my Smart IPTV. And so what I've come to find out is that all apps are not created equal, plain and simple. And so with the Smart TV app, and I'm not pooping on these guys at all. I love what they did because the technology is needed. And the Smart IPTV app allows people with smart TVs to be able to watch IPTV. So I love that. I can't poop on it. I won't poop on it until there's something else in play. And I won't poop on it then, but because it really, helps people out. However, what I realized is that, and common sense became that Smart IPTV, through the app verification, they're using two servers. So basically, they're not using two servers. You are using your IPTV provider server, and their service is going from that provider to your Smart IPTV server, which is then translating that to your TV. So basically, real simple. The IPTV service is coming from one server, and depending on where it is in the world, and it's going to the Smart IPTV server, and then it's leaving their server and to your Smart IPTV. And if they're not saying that's not how it happens, tell me then why. If your playlist is corrupted or something happens on their end, you'll get that check NRL or check URL system, and that's because the URL is missing from their server. Okay, so that means it has to go through their server, which tells me and explains to me why I would get a lot of buffering and or lag time when zapping from one channel to another, and or if it didn't play at all. Like a lot of times with the Smart IPTV app, it won't play at all, and I didn't understand why my channels weren't playing when I was just using Prog TV in my living room and it was playing. And so I come to understand that they don't have all of the codecs involved. It also depends on what type of file that you get from your provider, whether it's a TS file or an M3U8 or M3U. All that matters. But again, they don't have codecs, all the codecs to be able to stream, because from my understanding, a lot of these IPTV providers sometimes choose to go directly to the source, I guess the way Bad Wolf explained it to me. But long story short, it didn't work. And when I used Perfect Player, which was almost as fast as Prog TV app when it came to zap time, however, what I did find is that it will buffer as a long time. Perfect Player will buffer, and sometimes it won't even play a channel at all. It will say channel not available. And so these were some of the things that people also emailed me on, and I tried to explain it to people. And because people weren't getting it, and you have the people who just know it all, and they're like, oh, I am on a 100 megabyte connection, and it worked perfectly with the last provider, or it worked perfectly with Vader, or it worked perfectly with Gears. And that's good. All them guys have great servers just like Bad Wolf do. And I'm pretty sure all these people, these big name providers like this, they're putting a lot of money into their servers and trying to provide you great service. But it's up to you to also know how IPTV works. And not all apps work great. And so with Perfect Player, I would get a lot of channels that were not available for some reason. And I would get that little red circle, which I'm going to show you, okay? And with STB EMU, I got a lot of audio disabled situations. However, STB EMU was one of the best next to Progs to use, because at least I was able to change my media codecs and also my audio codecs to adjust to whatever the stream was. And unlike Perfect Player, you know, which you can change hardware, software, things like that, the STB EMU was more versatile when it comes to being able to play apps. So that's what I want to show you guys now. I'm going to show you the comparison between Perfect Player, STB EMU, and then the Bad Wolf app that they use, which reminds me sort of like Set TV's app, APK, just far as the channel switching. But I'm going to show that to you right now. But before I show that to you, what I want to do is real quick, I want to show you how it plays in VLC, all right, and show you, you know, that everything is working. So my playlist just popped up, and instantly, guys, you see that? Instantly, something came up. I mean, it didn't hesitate in that lag, and of course, I can't be on this for long because of copyright restrictions, but I'm just going to go to the next channel. Boom. Okay. So, go to the next channel. Boom. All right, and just showing you, man, like it's these guys have like good service, man, and if you're having issues, then it's definitely not their servers. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know what to say to you except for what I'm going to share with you now about everything that go on. But because I want to show you this now, this particular channel right here. Watch this. When there's an issue with a player and it can't play something, this is what it does. Watch what happens. Look at that. See how it just spread it out all of a sudden? Now watch this. Same thing, right? But I go somewhere else. Boom. No problem. And that's Bad Wolf. And I'm on VLC Media Player, all right? But I want you guys to keep that in mind. Now, we went to the Investigation Discovery, and we went to the VH1 reality show, okay? And so I want you to see that, because we're going to use those as examples to some of the issues you guys say you might be having. All right, so real quick, I am using Dolamy Android box. So I'm using a Dolamy Android box, and I'm using my audio video cord only because the HDMI on my TV doesn't work. It comes up with this real buzzing noise. And so like right now, currently this is Perfect Player, and for copyright issues, I'm not going to show the whole video, but I want to give you an example of what I'm talking about so you can definitely understand where I was coming from. And so we're going to go right to those last channels I showed you on VLC and Investigation Discovery. So hit Investigation Discovery. Look what happens. So it automatically says it's not available. Go to VH1. Look what happens. Automatically says it's not available. And so I couldn't understand that. And from a person who, let's say maybe you just use Perfect Player all the time because you like the EPG functions and it's something that you really like using, I can understand you're like, oh, it doesn't work. And, you know, that's the first thing come out your mouth is it didn't work. Now, however, if we go here, I'm using now the STB EMU emulator, and I go down to the same channels. All right. let's see what happens with STB emulator. So we here. All right. So we're going to hit basically play and see what happens. It played.
So what's he do?
It played. Where in Perfect Player it didn't play. Let's go to VH1 again. All right. See what happens. It's taking much longer, but it played. All right. So just want to show that to you guys. You know that all STP or all APKs are not created equally. All right. And okay, so I'm back now. So as you can tell, the proof was in exactly what I'm showing you guys now on VLC and Perfect Player, along with then STBEMU. And I could have did a review on the Bad Wolf, or I could have showed you Bad Wolf app as well, but I didn't want this video to be too long. I just wanted people to understand that it's not necessarily always the provider of the servers. You know what I mean? You got to take a little responsibility, guys, and do some homework, because oftentimes it could be the software that you're using. You know what I mean? And that plays a part. And one thing that I can say again for at least Bad Wolf, because I've tried all of these guys. Like I've tried IP66. I've tried Vader Streams. I've tried a lot of different people, you know, and one of the things that I didn't like the most was the lack of customer support. I like Gears, you know, they're very good with their customer support, and they are very passionate brothers with their service. You know, they really make sure it works. But I just prefer Bad Wolf just because, you know what I mean, they're there. If something goes wrong, they don't just leave you out to hang. They try their best to fix it. But I get it as well, man. You know, I've gotten some emails from people, you know, who again are just like, you know, I am basically making up, you know, my experience with Bad Wolf, and you know, they have the top of the line equipment, and they've been in the IPTV business for years, and the service sucks and it doesn't work. And I'm just making a random video. I didn't choose a certain time of the day to make it. I just said, you know what, let me make a video. Let me show you so that you can see and, you know, and explain to you at least my experience with what I've come to understand, that it's not always the provider. It sometimes is the application that you're using and or your device. You know what I mean? So take that into consideration. And I'm going to send this video to Bad Wolf, I guess, so that they can send it to their customers. I don't care what they really do with it, but you know, for those who really, you know, wanted to know why their service wasn't working, you know, I'm showing you why that can happen. And even with this, you see that screen right there? That is not the provider. That little gray screen that you saw, that actually has a lot to do with your preferences and your input and output on your video. So, you know, that plays a part as well. All right, hope this video helped you guys. Thanks.